Today's video is my penultimate Obby Creator building video, also known as my second to last Obby Creator building video. We'll be building floors 7 and 8 of Tower of the Grand Finale, my final tower in Obby Creator. You may remember this comment from the first video of building this tower, which says tower idea, a tower where every floor sends you to a random floor of a different tower. Today is the day we're going to be using that comment. I'll also mention this comment, which is a pretty similar idea, make a floor that has the theme of your most iconic towers. And so from this comment, that's where I'm sort of getting the title of this video. But that's going to be the theme for floor 8, and we're going to start this video on floor 7. So if you want to play what I build in today's video, here's the Obby ID right here. And you know what, before we even do floor 7, let me just show you what I built of floor... Ooh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, move the teleport location down a little bit. This is what's supposed to happen. It just teleports you right where that button is, and so you press the button. So if you remember, you can follow these blue arrows that take you to like an optional section that you can do to help you on the next floor. You'll find the comically large air conditioner, and you can pick it up. The whole thing, yes. You may notice that this looks a little bit different than it did at the end of last video. Well, I decided to make a decal of like the same thing. That way I could use 0 additional parts, because it's just an image on here, rather than like 30. And if you do that section, then you can also actually skip most of this like normal route. But anyway, you can see the next stop is the desert. So you can do this to use the teleporter. This floor is going to be kind of similar to the first floor over here, where you just have to go around and just find all the 5 buttons that pretty much are just going to have their own single path of parkour that leads to it. Unlike floor 2, which I still haven't even finished yet, but I have been working on that off camera, where it's all one linear path, but each button you press along the way also like... Well, this is the only one that actually works so far. It'll like activate a little shortcut thing that lets you back here pretty quickly. But same thing, you still gotta press all 5 to power up the time machine. You'll also notice that the comically large air conditioner is right here. It's only gonna be there if you picked it up from the previous floor. So we will get that button to work, but first let's build the parkour. And I'll also talk about this, because this is important also. So basically in the desert, it's hot, right? And metal, like the material metal, absorbs heat a lot, right? So that would mean if you leave a piece of metal in the sun in the middle of the desert, it would be pretty hot. Right? I wonder how you could cool it off. Right? Well, that's what the comically large air conditioner is gonna do. Basically, this is a lava part dealing 35 damage, and a slightly smaller lava part dealing 5 damage. So if you didn't have the comically large air conditioner, then jumping on this, you'd hit the 35 damage kill brick, or sometimes the other one. I don't know. See, like that time I only took 5 damage. But you know what? It's a bug. It's a feature. But you know what? It's not a bug, it's a feature. That was totally intentional. But if you press the button, then it'll have deactivated these things, so you'll be guaranteed to hit the 5 damage kill brick, which won't deal as much damage. Well, just like most of the other floors, there are 5 buttons you need to collect, so I guess let's get started. I'm gonna build several of the platforms out of different materials. So like this one I built out of wood, and I will some of them over here. Actually, let me start with the truss. I gotta save part limit, because, well, floor 5 took like over 1,000 parts. Hopefully the part limit won't be too much of a problem, but worst case scenario, I can buy more now. It says here the maximum part limit without VIP is 4,500. I don't know if that includes the Roblox Premium plus 100 part limit bonus though. But anyway, wood doesn't absorb heat as much as metal, so this won't be kill bricks. I think the best way to do this when I do want to build one of these metal platforms, well, okay, let's make it metal first, and I want it to be like a dark gray color. Actually, no, we're not gonna make it metal, we're gonna make it foil. Because let's not just call it a metal, that's boring and not specific at all, considering like 80% of the elements are metals. They're gonna be aluminum. Also, what am I doing? Why did I make that a regular part? I mean, I can just do this pretty quickly and replace it like that. But then I gotta put this here again. Okay, well actually, I won't replace it, because I'm gonna make a decal of, like, well, this thing, instead of it just saying AL. And I will explain this mechanic on one of the signs here, at the start of the floor. But for now, just figure it out. Another thing to keep in mind regarding part limit is that each of these is gonna take 2 parts, because one of them has to be the 35 damage kill brick, which I set that to 5, it should be 35. So like I do want to use a lot of these, but not a completely ridiculous amount. And also, where possible, I can try to make some parts that look like the same, but they're not lava, because they won't really affect anything. Like this is just so that this is attached to the ground, but it's just a regular part, because it's not going to affect the gameplay at all. So I may as well just save that one part. And so this needs to be possible with 35 damage kill bricks, so like... That means you can jump on each one twice. I mean, you could like stand still for a while and wait to heal up, but no one wants to deal with that. And you know what? So that you don't have to spend forever healing up, I'll even put a heal part. How about here? But these aluminum platforms aren't going to be the only thing that can damage you, because we're in the desert. Cacti. These are going to do more damage than the aluminum platforms if you've got the comically large air conditioner, but less than they do if you don't. So 15 damage. These are actually very easy to build. I mean, I've never built one before, but I imagine it would be. You know, you can just like do that. And I'm also going to make these be can collide false so that you can't just jump up them and take a shortcut. They'll still be kill bricks because, well, they already are. Actually, what if I do this? If I take a pressure plate and make it invisible and put it on the platform right before here. If I give it a debounce of like 5 and then make it activate these, what should happen is that after you stop standing on that pressure plate, which you don't even know you're actually standing on, there should be 5 seconds where these are activated, and then 5 seconds later, it'll deactivate. That way you will be able to use these to jump on, but only if you get up here first. And these sections are going to be pretty short, like this is about how long each one is going to be. So here's the end of this one, and now I just got to build 4 more. Actually, I've decided to change this to be iron and not aluminum, because I'm going to use aluminum for something else. Why? Well, first let me tell you what specific heat is. It's basically how much energy is needed to change the temperature of something. So like iron has a higher specific heat than aluminum, so it's going to take more energy to heat up iron than it would aluminum. So it would also take more energy to cool down iron than it would aluminum. So what I'm going to do here is this push lava block is going to be made of aluminum and will deal 5 damage like that. And the time of day I set this to is 17 or 5 p.m. because 17 is like on a 24-hour clock. And the hottest part of the day in the middle of the desert is like around noon. So that would mean after that height, aluminum has a lower specific heat, so it's going to have cooled down more within a few hours after noon, unlike iron, which won't have as much. We're going to say that the aluminum has cooled to the temperature that the comically large air conditioner is cooling the iron to. If this is turned on, it's apparently using enough energy to cool this down very quickly to the temperature of 5 degrees damage. That's how I feel looking at degrees Celsius. That means if this is turned off, this is not going to have cooled down, so it's still going to be 35 damage. This one already has. And the cactus, since its damage isn't supposed to be related to its heat, it's because cactus, the damage it deals is not affected by this. Floor 8 is the blue void. Here you must complete tower crossings to my most iconic towers. So around here, you'll notice I've selected a floor from 5 different towers I've built in the past. This doesn't count because it's the spaceship. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you're going to complete tower crossings to these 5 floors. But let's talk about how I decided which floors to use. Well, these floors, they're a floor from a tower of one of my most viewed videos. Mainly all of them except this one. I mean, since most of my most viewed videos are like Ring 1 towers, which aren't as good, I wanted to include at least one of them, so I decided to choose a floor from one of my favorite towers I've built. This one is that New York steeple from Christmas 2021. Since it's the best, I guess we'll save the best for last in the order you'll do these tower crossings, if I decide to make it be a specific order. Which, yeah, sure, I'll make it so you go in the order that I built these towers, which would be this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. And then this one. If you don't know what these towers are from, this one was from the original How to Make a JTOH Tower in Obby Creator, this one from How to Make a Descending Tower, this one from Can I Build a Tower in Less Than 100 Parts, this one is Tower of Superception Floor I4 Gore, and like I said, this one is from the New York steeple. So how am I going to make it so you go in a specific order on these? Well, I can make it so that each button you press at the end of these tower crossings does something. That's what buttons do. Well, we already know there's going to have to be a Make Objects Invisible button, because it's got to deactivate stuff here so that this works. And it would be more convenient to build a path that opens to allow you to the next tower crossing with a Make Objects Visible button, because it just like activates some platforms, rather than a Make Objects Invisible button, because then I have to make like something blocking you, which would work for this, I suppose, because you can just jump to that. So that's going to mean the button at the end of this one just has to be a Make Objects Invisible button. It'll deactivate like a force field that'll go right here, preventing you from making this jump. And it does need to be Can Collide True. It'll be deactivated by a button, like I said. The rest of these you can't jump to except for this one, but it's the first one you're going to anyway. That being said, I kind of want you to jump to here. But since in a tower crossing, the section you're going to is either nerfed or buffed, so it matches the difficulty of the tower you're actually in, I'm going to be modifying these anyway. So what I think I'm going to do is make it just be a studded platform, but it's going to be that color. This color works well because it's obviously a different color than would be in any of these floors originally. So I think it's pretty obvious that this is a modification to the original one, and it does match something here. Okay, so this prevents you from maybe not doing that. Well, now it does. And you know what? I'll just make this a force field. I think that'll just look better. Okay, now normally in a tower crossing, I would put like something at the bottom here. That's a teleporter. Here it's going to be another force field. That way it's a little bit less boring than just that, even though it looks like that from above here, which is probably how you're going to be looking at that. Here it's going to be just a can collide false part, since you just fall here and then get teleported back. So I'll just do that. So now what modifications do I want to make to the actual parkour here? Well, keep in mind that this tower's original difficulty is intense, and Tower of the Grand Finale is difficult, so I need to nerf it. Maybe. I mean, this floor is definitely not intense. The tower overall is intense, but this floor, not so much. I'd say that already fits the difficulty pretty well, but I don't want it to be exactly the same. Well, maybe this is even below difficult, so I guess I can justify buffing it a little bit by doing that. And so you're still gonna have to do the push box section. Conveniently, when I copied this over here using premades, it kept the button linked to here, and then you can use these parts here. This button will be make objects invisible, which it already is. It'll deactivate one of these and the first one of these. So that button deactivates that, and I'll put another one that activates something. The parts that'll get newly activated by the button over here are a tightrope that lead to a platform from which you can jump to the next floor you'll be going to. So when this floor was in this tower, falling here would result in losing progress. But I've deleted the teleporter, so at the moment it's just a can collide true kill brick, so you can skip like most of the section. Well, similar to over here, where I just have a thing that it would like normally be a teleporter in a tower crossing, here I'm just gonna make the floor be can collide false, so you fall through it. And then since this tower crossing over here, it was kind of boring, so I mean it's fine, but I don't want all of them to be like that. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take some moving parts that'll be like moving down, and they'll have reverse off. We'll have it go to here so it doesn't like cause Z fighting. So if this is working right, that's gonna be if you're like standing right here, it should like fling you out of the tower or something. Well, like not the whole tower, just this box. So I'll have one on this half of the floor. I can hold control to move both of these at the same time. And this one I can just use move offset to change it by half of its move time. So if I have the moving parts already activated, I could put in like semi-transparent walls that make it so you have to sort of follow the path of the parkour in the floor originally. That way you can't just do something like this and then skip to the end. Okay, so now all the modifications I've made to this floor are these moving parts, these semi-transparent walls, and also there not being like a moving part. That was part of the original floor. It like went from here to like over here. But you can't make a pre-made include moving parts, so it was just deleted. I'll add like a platform here that you can jump to, and then you can like, I don't know, that doesn't really work that well. What if I have another one right here that you can stand on? Then you can do this, and you can do that. Okay, that works. Oh, right, you gotta not, like, stand in one place for too long, or else it's gonna do that also. So it's like you're gonna have to be able to get all the way over here. But also, you can't, like, jump from here to here. You need another platform. So that's gonna mean I'm gonna need another platform in this area. Off of this ladder, you can go onto this moving part, and then you can, like, go onto this platform. Or if you want, to this one without getting on the other one first. But then you need to, without getting flung off the platforms. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need to make that like a 2x2 at least. I think that should work. Yeah, you need to make your way to here, and then you can do that. But I mean, this still just leads out here, so we need to put the button somewhere. I'll put it right here, and since you're like jumping up to the button, I think it would maybe still work if I made it 2 buttons like this, but I think I'm going to aim for this to that be the only button, so it's gonna deactivate something. So I've added some 1 studs here that lead to the next floor, but they're blocked by these things being on top, so you can't jump on them. Theoretically, you could wall hop this whole way, but even if you did, you still have to go press the button in order to open this, so there's no point in doing that. So when you press that button, those should go away, which they did, and then you would do these 1 studs. And they lead to this tower of low parts section. The jump off of here was meant to be like a long jump down to a part on the previous floor, but since that previous floor isn't here, I'll just include this in a series of 1 stud jumps. And you can also high jump on top of there. I mean, I walked straight off the platform, but you can do that. I'll just make it the intended route then. And right here seems like a nice spot for the button, because it's a nice 4x4 platform. There we go. This button I think is also just going to be a single make objects invisible button. The next tower you're tower crossing to is Tower of Superception. So what I'm going to do is just like at random select a bunch of these frame parts. I think that should be good, so let's see. I'll also fix the Z fighting, which was in the original tower, but since there was that kill brick on top, it didn't matter. But here I can just do that and yeah. I'm also going to block this off, that way you can't go in here, because what this was in the original tower was this whole thing had no parkour in it. It was that you would drop down the whole thing to the wind pad at the bottom of the tower, from the top of the tower, at the end of the tower. So, since before you press the button over here, this wall is going to be activated, you'll still be able to jump to here, but there will be a wall in the way. But here, there isn't. So, in the original tower, if you fell to this kill brick floor, it would teleport you back to the start of the floor. But here, it's just kill bricks. So I think it's gonna be you, like, make your way up to the top of here. Just look around and see if there's anything I can jump on. Which there is, right here. From here, the direction the parkour is going is this way, so I guess that would mean you could just complete the whole floor from here. But I don't want you to just redo this section of the floor, because 1, it's insane difficulty, 2, that's nothing new that this tower crossing is compared to the original tower, and 3, you wouldn't play any of this before here. Which I guess I don't necessarily have to include all of that in the tower crossing. But anyway, I can put a part here where this was originally a truss flick. This is now just that. And there's the speed pad. Okay, that I think could be interesting for some gameplay. If I just block off these similar to before where you could theoretically wall hop them, but I'm not really concerned about that. With this increased walk speed and the fact that this whole wall right here is deactivated, you can make this jump onto here, which was not the original route. Where does this lead though? You would press this button and you'd go this way, and then you do these conveyor launches that would eventually lead you to the end of the floor. I'll make it so that with the increased walk speed, you go sort of backwards through how this originally went. I'll place another part here that you can only jump to with the increased walk speed, but is still difficulty. There we go. And then you'll sort of go backwards through the parkour here. Or at least, kind of. I mean, I'm just gonna do this, so you can just, like, skip all these wraparounds. And let's see, how about a truss here? If you were to jump down here, it's not gonna do anything. Well, actually, I guess the button doesn't necessarily have to be here. I could put it in this earlier part of the floor from before, where this wedge thing was. So I guess that makes it so that when you reach the top of here, that's still pretty much the end of the tower crossing. But instead of the button being like there, I can make it be like there. You can jump to it with the increased walk speed. And since the wall that this sign is on gets deactivated anyway, I'm just going to delete that sign. Also, I just thought of a way I can save parts. Yay. This button that deactivates the walls, the only ones it really needs to actually deactivate are these 3. Anything else that deactivates is like inside the floor, where you wouldn't see it until all these are deactivated anyway. So you're only going to see it when it's deactivated, so you wouldn't see it. Oh, and I also realized I clicked this, which I shouldn't have. That shouldn't get deactivated. I was wondering why I seemed to remember there being a part here, but these other 3 parts that button was connected to, those can be deleted. This button is only a make objects invisible button. There's no make objects visible button. When you press it, it's going to deactivate the force field here. That way you can just make the jump onto this last one. Oh yeah, and about that speed pad, as long as there's no way to get to any other tower crossing other than jumping down here, that'll be fine. You'll still have the increased walk speed here, but that's about to be fixed by putting a walk speed resetter right here. So this was the final floor of the New York steeple, which was about the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. So we have the not even a Christmas tree decoration, which is a neat that gets its name based on what the original idea for this second steeple of Christmas 2021 was going to be. Although the neat itself doesn't relate to decorating Christmas trees. Oh, and that was the wind pad. So it's a reset part here, which means it would make you lose all your progress if you hit that. Since I didn't build a wind room in that event, I just made the wind pads be reset parts. But here, it's going to be the button. I think that's what makes the most sense. It's going to be smaller than the other buttons, though, so that it fits in that space there. Oh, yeah, and we also have Santa, the Santa float. This steeple, I believe, was hard difficulty, so that would mean I would need to buff this. There seems to be a few things that I can, like, delete and then replace with head hitters. So, like, that, I can do that for. Same here. Okay, here I've deleted 2 of the other cylinders here, so now what you have to do is this, and then you go, like, on top of here. Then you get to the button, and that's actually the final button of this floor. After you press that, you just jump down here, and these would all be deactivated, and this will be fully powered, and then you could use this teleporter, which currently just teleports you there, but once I build floor 9, it'll take you there. Currently, it just says something. Now it's time to play floors 7 and 8, start to finish, to end the video. Here's the Obby ID if you want to come play these 2 floors, or any of the other floors here. So the floor 7 teleporter is here, or it would teleport you here from the end of floor 6. You can give it a second to activate all the effects, which it has now. So, there's still a lot I need to do off camera for these 2 floors, but the most important stuff is here. Right here, later on, there will be a sign or 2 that explains, like, the different materials and how they damage you differently. depending on whether you have the comically large air conditioner or not. But as you can see, these iron platforms, if you step on that right now, you'll take 35 damage, which I mean, you wouldn't be able to like go back here and then do this, but just pretend you can or something. You can see this is here now, but now these will only deal 5 damage, so yay. It works. Only 2 of the 5 sections you need to complete have been built so far. This one involves some wraparounds and that, not that. Okay, this wraparound you want to do on that side. That's the best way to do that. Okay, that is something you can actually do there. Since this debounce is 5, if you were to do something like I did, you may still have enough time to be able to jump up here and not have to redo that. Anyway, there's the first button. Not that you'll have to complete these in any particular order, though. Oh, and these green circles are heal parts, so that just makes your life easier so you don't have to stand around healing for 10 years on this floor. And then this is a shadow section. So once I make those decals with the element thingies, I'll use that to tell you what materials these are made of. For now, you don't know, I guess. And wood isn't an element, but it'll just say wood. And so yeah, these first 2, they're semi-transparent. That way you can see like the size on this axis, but it's the same for these other ones. And then you want to get on top of here and you'd press that button. Then you'd complete the other 3 sections that aren't here yet, and then you can do that. Okay, that takes you to floor 8, the Blue Void. Here you must complete tower crossings to my most iconic towers. Currently there's just a temporary truss here. I'll put some actual parkour there. So the first tower that you tower cross to is this one over here, Tower of Video Tutorials. So you gotta do those jumps. Then you gotta do this push box section to press that button, which will activate this truss. Then you need to jump across these in order to reach this button. And after you press each button, you can just jump down here to get teleported back to here, because that won't reset any buttons or anything. Now you can make your way over here to this next one. This one has those moving parts. So basically you need to get to the button over there and not like get crushed, which I mean it's just gonna like fling you probably into the teleporter. So hopefully it won't like glitch out too bad and then you get flung out of the whole tower. But that's not what's supposed to happen anyway. Yeah, that's probably about the worst that could happen. At the end of here, you can press that button, and then you can just, like, go down this way or something. Now that you've pressed that, you can then go across these 1 studs, which will take you to Tower of Low Parts. I forgot to say the name of that one. Oh, those Tower of Reverse Rampage. Because descending towers can also be called, like, reverse towers, and it's alliterative, so yeah. Then you can press this button, and it'll deactivate some stuff over there. You can just jump down here again. And now you'd be able to jump to here, which you could before, but there'd be no point in doing that. And then you need to complete the tower crossing to Tower of Superception, which first involves going over here. Oh yeah, you'll also probably take a lot of damage. I guess I'll just put arrows so you know what direction to go, so you're not like jumping around a while and then almost dying and then having to heal all the way up. Yeah, that sounds like that would be annoying, so I'll put some arrows, since you can make it here without having to heal up. Also, I haven't tested whether that's possible without the increased walk speed, which it's not, so okay. That means this will work as it's supposed to. Although here I forgot to make a difficulty jump leading to here. So you had to use the insane difficulty jump here. Well, not anymore. Okay. So once you get the increased walk speed, you can then kind of follow these light blue platforms, which will take you this way. And then you can go over here. And actually you don't have to jump to here and then to the button. If you want, you can jump from, like, here to the button. Either way is fine, I guess. Then just make your way to here, and when you jump down, it'll also reset your walk speed. The button deactivated the force field here that prevented you from jumping to here, but now you can jump to here. So then you just need to do this buffed, not even a Christmas tree decoration thing. The name of this whole steeple, though, was Steeple of New York Adventures. And there's the final button. Currently, it does nothing. But what it'll do later is deactivate the final one of these, so you'll be able to use the time machine to go to floor 9. Well, thanks for watching my second to last Obby Creator building video. After this, there's the final building video of this tower, and then the video where I'll show this whole tower start to finish. But that won't be my last Obby Creator video, because I'll still be doing, like, requested obbies and stuff, even though I'll be continuing Shark's Mini Towers of Heck in Roblox Studio. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and comment any ideas you have for the rest of this tower, even though I kind of have it all planned out, or for the Ring 4 Citadel, Citadel of Leon Laboratories. I'll see you in the next video, and have a great day.